Let's make an autumn vegetable quiche featuring butternut squash. Whenever butternut squash shows up in the grocery stores and farmers markets, I know it's fall season and it's time to get cozy. To get started, we're going to prep our squash. Peeling butternut squash can be a little contentious for some people, so I'm going to attempt to make it a little bit easier for you. I'm going to cut where those two parts meet. We're only going to use this side of the butternut squash today. Now we have to get to peeling it. So I'll remove the stem side. From here, you have two options. If you have a Y-shaped peeler that is sharp enough, you can actually go ahead and peel the butternut squash like this. Or another option is to get a, again, sharp knife and just peel all the way down. For this quiche, we are roasting our vegetables, and whenever you roast vegetables, what you get is more sweetness and a more concentrated flavor out of them. Our squash is prepped, so now let's move on to our other ingredients. We have mushrooms here. Whenever you roast a variety of vegetables together on the same baking sheet, what you want to make sure of is that they all cook at the same pace and that they're done around the same time. By just quartering the mushroom rather than slicing, they will finish around the same time as the butternut squash. Finally, let's prep our leeks. Leeks are not really tricky, but you want to be careful when you're prepping them because there's often sand trapped inside. So let's make sure that this leek is clean before we roast it. I go all the way up to the point that the greens start. See, between these layers, I can even see from here, there is some sand. So I'm going to slice it in half lengthwise like this, expose the insides. I'll rinse these under the faucet and then come back to finish prepping it. Our leeks are rinsed, and now we'll slice them into about 1/2 inch thick slices. If you can't find leeks, they're not in season, you can definitely use a shallot or a yellow onion or even a red onion instead. Finally, let's add some salt and a little bit of olive oil. These vegetables are ready to go into an oven at 425 degrees for about 30 minutes or until the butternut squash is soft all the way through. Now that the vegetables have roasted and cooled, we can assemble our quiche. So first, let's make the custard. I have 4 large eggs going into a bowl. For a rich and almost creamy quiche, I'm using heavy cream. We'll add some black pepper, some salt, and because this is an autumn vegetable quiche and we've got butternut squash in it, I'm also adding some thyme. Have about 4 sprigs, give it a little bit of a chop, and then into our custard it goes. The last ingredient to go into the bowl, Parmesan cheese. Putting about 1/4 cup of Parmesan, let's whisk it. Custard is ready, so now let's assemble everything. Here I have our quiche crust. It's already blind baked. It's a very simple recipe. I use it for every type of quiche, and here's how you make it. Begin by adding 2½ cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of salt to a food processor, and give it a pulse. Now add 1½ sticks of very cold butter and pulse it until the butter is distributed throughout the flour. Now we need the flour to come together. Starting with 2 tablespoons, add ice cold water and pulse. If you can grab some of the flour mixture, press it together between your fingers and it looks like dough, it's ready. Pour the dough out onto a countertop and bring it all together until it forms a massive dough. A bench scraper helps you get the job done. Wrap the dough and transfer it to the fridge for at least 30 minutes before blind baking the crust. To our prepared quiche crust, we'll start to add these vegetables. And right on top of the vegetables, we'll add our goat cheese. And finally, we'll pour the custard right on top. In order to get a nice brown crust, more Parmesan cheese. This is ready to go into the oven at 375 degrees for about 45 minutes. Our quiche is out of the oven and we let it cool for about 20 minutes and it's still warm and ready to eat. So let's slice into it and see what it looks like. Nice and flaky. Look how beautiful that is. Let's give it a taste. What a perfect way to welcome autumn. And now all that's left to do is finish this slice of quiche.